Hello, this is Keith Haswell speaking here, and I'm a professional astrologer with 25,000 clients worldwide and 38 years experience as a professional astrologer, and also 38 years experience in teaching metaphysics. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to this particular video. Now, this video is on the topic of the planets in aspect. And you're probably asking yourself, after seeing the last 6 or 7 videos on the science of astrology, you're probably asking yourself, when is Keith going to take mercy on my psyche? When is he going to get down to the nitty-gritty of things that I can actually comprehend? Because in my intensives, I do things a different way. I start off with simple concepts on the science of meditation and reincarnation and things like that. And then I gradually build you up into deeper and deeper subjects in the later part of my intensives. But with these videos, I have a different objective, and the way that I'm working with these videos is to first of all lay a deep understanding within yourself about the nature of reality and our place in that reality, so that when I get to the topics like ending self-pity, meditation, reincarnation, stopping self-punishment, ending fear, building self-esteem, and ending shame, and all of these various topics are all going to be individual videos that I'm going to be doing for you to help you to become more of who you really are. But for them to have real meaning for you, it's vital that you get an understanding of the nature of reality and what you're dealing with the science of meditation, and what you're dealing with. What's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of reincarnation and so forth? So I'm looking at things from the larger point of view to give you a clear understanding, even though I know that a lot of it goes way over your head, but to give you a clear understanding about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. And then when I get into these other videos later on, then it'll have a lot more meaning to you. So please bear with me in my method of operation, my modus operandi, what you might say. And I know that it's difficult to just be hit with these massive complex concepts that I'm hitting you between the eyes with right from the very beginning with these videos. But it will all have meaning to you as you progress through my videos. Now, we are all living in a space-time rule set. I've gone through our vehicles of expression, and so you understand the field of play, and you understand that we have 4 subplanes of etheric energy that we are working on, and our energy body, our etheric body, is made up of these 4 subplanes, and then we've got 7 subplanes of emotional energy. Each one is more refined than the one below it. And you can appreciate that by understanding that dense physical matter is much more dense than liquid. Liquid, you can pass your hand through it. Liquid is much more dense than gaseous, and so forth. So it makes sense to you when I say to you that the purpose of life is the refinement of your etheric body, your emotional body, and your lower mental body. They are our personality vehicles. 4 levels of the mental plane, the 4 lower levels, and the 7 levels of the emotional plane. Really, we're only working on the 5 higher subplanes of the emotional plane, because we've already in past lifetimes and past eras we've already controlled and dominated the lower two subplanes of the emotional plane. So they are reserved for the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, those two levels of the emotional plane. But I won't complicate things further by elaborating on that. I'll just say that we've all got emotions within ourselves which are of a low calibre. Anger, shame, fear, stress, tension, and envy and greed and lust and all these various things, self-punishment, all of these things are all emotions and feelings. And then we've got the higher emotions of tenderness and kindness and forgiveness and sympathy and empathy and tolerance and giving and loving and caring and sharing. These are all mental concepts as well, but they have their emotional counterpart. So it's important to understand that we are all in incarnation for the purpose of raising the energy level and the refinement level of the matter that makes up our bodies. And this is where the planets in aspect come into play. Your thought forms, which your whole emotional body is made up as a container for these thought forms, and your emotional body is made up of all these various feelings that you have of anger and shame and self-pity and martyrhood and so on and so forth. And we've got these higher emotions as well that we're all working on to develop. So the purpose of life is to come into incarnation and pick up each time where we left off the last time, and then get stuck in this particular lifetime into refining our emotional body further beyond the level that we've attained in past lives. We need hundreds of lives to be able to achieve this goal. God and Goddess didn't make it easy. It's not a matter of having one or two lifetimes and then you're home and sailing. It's a difficult task to be able to control all these negative aspects of ourselves. So this is where astrology comes in, because what happens is that it's not a question of you coming into incarnation and then you say, oh gee, I was unlucky, I had Mars square to Mercury in my horoscope, and therefore that's a bad aspect, and therefore I've got a lot of stress and tension mentally. You've come into incarnation when the planets were in their right location to fit the energy forms, the thought forms that make up your emotional and mental bodies. So what happens is this, is that in the in-between life stage, you are waiting to take your first breath when the planets are in a perfect resonance to do with the content of your emotional body. So if you've got a lot of anger inside of yourself, you'll come into incarnation when you've got Mars badly aspected to Mercury, for example. Now I'll just run through these aspects, because this video is called Planets in Aspect. Now we've got what we call conjunctions, and these are 0 degrees, so the planets are together, and you're allowed an orb. We allow an orb of about 6 degrees either side of a perfect conjunction for it to be a strong one. And then you've got a separation of 60 degrees, which is called a sextile, and that's a positive one. The conjunction can be positive or negative depending on the nature of the planets. And then you've got squares, which are 90 degrees. These are separation by degrees in space, and they're put down into the graph in our horoscope. So 90 degrees is what's called a square, and that's a discordant aspect or relationship. And again, you've got the allowance of 6 degrees or so either side of that. And then you've got what's called a trine, which is 120 degrees, and that's a harmonious aspect between the two planets. That indicates qualities developed between those two planets. The nature of those two planets have achieved their job to a large extent in past lives. You've done well if you've got these trines. And then there's oppositions, which by the nature of an opposition you can sense that that one is a negative one. So we've got conjunctions which can be positive or negative depending on the nature of the planets. Sextile means 60 degrees, that whereby you are working towards the development of that principle within yourself, and you are in the process of refining that to still higher degrees. 90 degrees is a square, whereby you are having discord regarding the function of those two planets in your horoscope and in your nature. And then you've got oppositions, trines, which is 120 degrees. That's job well done, and qualities and principles and values well developed. And then you've got oppositions, which are basically that. There's a lot of opposition between yourself and other people with those oppositions. So you take your first breath when these planets are all in the perfect location to suit what's inside of yourself in terms of your emotional nature and mental nature. So therefore, let's just look at the way that these things can work by taking an example of Mars badly aspected. Now Mars, I pick on Mars because Mars is classed as a non-spiritual planet, and therefore it always works on passion and aggression and energy and commencing and starting things. It's our sexual drive and sexual energies and so forth. Now, if that planet is in bad aspect with any one of our planets, then it's going to mean quite a lot of discord between those two planets. Now, I'm cramming a lot into these two videos on this particular topic, so I know that you'll have to play the videos over and over again in order to be able to synthesize it all and get a grasp of what I'm trying to say to you. But I've got a lot of things that I want to do for you through these videos. So let's take, for example, Mars in bad aspect to all of your other planets in the horoscopes. Mars is your energy levels, sex drive and so forth. Now, badly aspected to the Sun is the overall personality and your integration of all of your faculties of your personality. So therefore, Mars badly aspected to the Sun would see discord within yourself in regard to your personality expression and the expression of your energy levels and the expression of your sexuality. So there would be a lot of aggression within yourself and so forth. Mars badly aspected to the Moon would see it sublimated into the emotional side of your nature to a large extent. And so therefore it's a lot of inner turmoil inside of yourself on emotional levels. Mars badly aspected to Venus is going to see you. Venus is your love nature, and so therefore there's a selfish expression of love, domination and manipulation and control of those that you propose to love, and a lot of stress and tension in your life, focusing through relationships and social activities and financial matters. And Mars badly aspected to Jupiter will work on your moral values and principles. Jupiter is your moral values and principles, is the embodiment of the second ray of love wisdom, and it's out to expand your consciousness to new horizons. And so therefore Mars badly aspected to Jupiter, either by square or opposition, is going to see a lot of discord within yourself in regard to your ethics and principles and morals and values, and your integrity is all in question when you've got these sort of things. So you'll get involved in secret romantic attachments and deceptive expression of sexuality and so on and so forth.